Hi there, care to join us for a Stravaiging? Today, Loki and I are going to be walking out to Bruce's Stone at Clatteringshaws, not to be confused with the Bruce's Stone at Glentrool, which is kind of over the hills in that direction over there. We're starting here on the A712. The Galloway is a few miles that way, and Newton Stewart is a few miles that way. And just over here, I think that path is the start of the core path that goes up to Benny Guinea. If we carry on down the road that goes towards Newton Stewart, there's routes down that direction that go off to the one of them that goes the gravel track down to Gatehouse. There's also the Raiders Road that goes off to the left. They're either side of Clatteringshaws Dam. This building is the old Clatteringshaws Visitor Centre, and this site is earmarked to become the new Darksky Observatory. This should be a pretty quick walk. I'm going to sort of step off the path for a minute and just walk around this wee bit down here. There is people having some lunch here at the moment. But if you want to just carry straight on down to the rock, it's just down there. It's a lovely spot for lunch. So yeah, so we're just coming up to towards the edge of Clatteringshaws Loch. And this is Clatteringshaws Loch. So this has been flooded deliberately for the Scottish Hydro Scheme. It was done in the 30s. Prior to that, this was basically, it was called Raploch Moss, or Raploch Moore. And in 1307 was the site of Robert the Bruce's first battle when he was back in Scotland. It was just a wee skirmish. But prior to the flooding, it turned into a reservoir, farmers used to find like swords and things in the peat. It would be fascinating if they ever drained it for them to do an archaeological dig here. So I'll try to remember some of the names around here. We've got Craignell and Darnot. And also just over there we have Craig and Cally. I think that's just kind of the one just behind, although the hill's got a slightly different name. Craig and Cally, Craig of the Woman, or Cliff of the Woman, which was where Robert the Bruce met a widow whose sons volunteered to fight with him. Check out Galloway Retooled's video, which goes into far more clear and better detail. The big hill over there is Mico Millier, and then we've got Little Millier, and my brain just suddenly blanked on the two next to it, so I'll either do a voiceover or put some text up. You can see there's other people about to head down the path as well, so I'll see if I can get ahead of them. And there's just been people having lunch. They're warning me you can get adders in the grass here, so stick to the path if you can and just keep your eyes open and be noisy so that they can hear you coming. This is quite busy around here, so I'm just keeping Loki on the lead for now. You can possibly see the mast just up there above the trees. That's on top of Benny Guinea. Should say there's a core path, I think runs just through there, maybe just slightly further down the road, goes up there. Just behind that is known as Black Craig, or Black Craig of Dee, or Cairnsmore of Dee, which is one of the three prominent Cairnsmoors in the region. Over in that direction a wee bit, I can't see it from here, is Cairnsmore of Fleet. First water stop, and we'll go a bit further around. You can jump in the loch, mate. And Cairnsmore Carstairs, quite a few miles to the north. Up ahead there is the Bennin. Bennin over Clatteringshaws, there's so many Bennins around. I did make a film video walking up there. It's the one where I fell down the hole. That joins onto the back of back hill of Glenlee, which I was hoping with the cutting that was going on up there, there'd be a route through. You could just walk through both Glenlee Hill, back hill of Glenlee and Bennin, but sadly it's still a bit of a mess up there and not impassable. I mentioned Michaelmillier. Michaelmillier is kind of the southern end of the Rins of Kells. Lovely walk up around there. Still need to figure out how I'm going to film up there one day. Oh, that would be a nice viewpoint, especially before the trees grow. Guessing there may also be a route out there. So I'm confused because when I was younger, I remember the stone being a lot closer to the road. So I don't know, maybe the visitor centre was built after that, and so the entry into the walk is a lot further along. Or maybe the road's been straightened along here. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments. It's a very warm day. We want to try and get Loki down into the water for a bit, just to cool his paws off a bit. So way down here. Ah, yes. The water may be a bit far away, so I'll do it on the way back. But just down here, and forgive my pronunciation, these are the Rosnes Benches. I believe there's a whole load of them in the region. There's several of them in the region. There is a website which I will link to in the description. Let's go down. It's a bit damp along this bit. As I mentioned near the start, this loch is part of the Galloway Hydro Scheme. The north end of the loch, there is an intake that takes water through the hills I just mentioned with Ben and Backhill of Glenlee and Glenlee Hill, and takes it through to Glenlee hydropower station. Alright, you happy now, boy? Let's talk about the benches just before. I'd say the artists that created them were DL and Scullion, I believe. Yeah, we'll get back on the walk. I believe a lot of this was planted previously. So there's a few things I've got to mention at the start there. Mentioned the A712, also known as the Queen's Way. There's quite a few walks down there. There's also Murray's Monument further down on Dunkittrick Cottage, the home of Alexander Murray, who the monument was erected for. And then you've got Carruthtree down the far end by Mini Gaffney and Stewart. That road also acts as part of the National Cycleway, although you don't go all the way to Galloway, you turn left a bit further along and go up towards Dalry via Glenlee, running down beside Ben and back out of Glenlee and Glenlee Hill. And then there's Raiders Road, which is I think 10-mile drive. And it's got the otter pool down there. The only recording I've done down there is when I did New Galloway to Mossdale. We walk along the Raiders Road for a bit and down to Loch Strone. Yeah, and this is it. This is the end of the Loch and Bruce's Stone. And encounter at Raploch Moss. So in 1306, Robert Bruce seized the empty throne of Scotland, but was immediately defeated by the English and became a fugitive. He fled first to Rathlin Island and later to Ulster and the Hebrides. Early the following year, he returned to his homelands in the southwest to retake the kingdom. It is March 1307, and King Robert is hiding out in the hills around Moss Raploch. An English army has camped here, and Bruce sets upon them at dawn while they're sleeping. As the Scots pick over the dead for weapons and booty, the king takes time to rest against a large stone. Soon after, Bruce defeats another English force at Glentrool. There's a picture of the Glentrool one there as well. Just another stone. In time-honoured fashion, there are many stones connected to Bruce, just as there are many caves. The stone at Glentrool is a monument commemorating the battle there, but the granite stone here, whether Bruce rested against it or not, is a natural feature of this location. The loch here was created in the 30s by the construction of Clatteringshaws Dam. The site was owned by the First Commission of Scotland, but Bruce's stone was gifted to the National Trust for Scotland by the Earl of Mar in 1932. The National Trust for Scotland also looks after other sites connected with Robert the Bruce. The battle site is said to have been at Craignell, now submerged by the reservoir. So Craignell was being one of the hills that we could see over the other way. And a silver penny from the reign of the King Robert I. Coins were probably not issued until after the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, when he was firmly established as king. And finally, the Robert the Bruce Trail features many places in Dumfries and Galloway that played a significant part in Bruce's story. The trail covers an extensive area, but you can visit the sites individually or follow the specified routes, which have been divided into 3 separate car trails: west, central and east. In Dumfries there is also the town foot trail. So this is the rock itself. As the board says, whether he rested on it or not is another matter. I also suspect this probably was not where it was located and has been moved from when they flooded the reservoir. One of the stories I've heard is that the landowner, in order to sell the land for the hydroelectric scheme, basically demanded that it be recognised as Bruce's stone in order for the deal to be done. So obviously it adds question marks to it a bit, but still a great story. And yeah, and that's Bruce's stone at Clatteringshaws. This is Clatteringshaws just being through the trees just over there. It's a nice quick walk. So I got back at the end of the hike and the caravan's gone, so I'll give you, here's a view from the other side as well. Monument to the Clatteringshaws Dam. Constructed by the Galloway Water Power Company in 1932-34, Clatteringshaws Dam and the loch occupy ground memorable in Scottish history. Close by the dam ran the old Edinburgh Road. Parts of that is the A712, Queensway, leading from Whithorn, Candida Casa, 4th, 5th century. The earliest Christian foundation in Scotland. The waters of the loch are gathered from the vastness of the dungeon of Buchan and from the site of that ancient forest of Buchan, where Robert the Bruce was hard pressed by his enemies after his return to Scotland from Rathlin in 1307. A victory gained near the place by Robert the Bruce or his brother Edward is commemorated by the great boulder known as the King or Bruce's Stone, which stands near the shores of the loch, 700 yards north of Clatteringshaws Farm. Mary Queen of Scots passed this way on the 13th of August, can't see it for the grass, 1563. The surrounding wilds were sought as refuge by the Covenanters during their struggles in the 17th century. Don't know how much that's in frame because it's really quite bright out here. And then yeah, so just out here, you might just be able to see the edge of Clatteringshaws Dam. I'll just take a quick look down here. This won't be on the map. This just goes down to the water's edge. So you can just see some of the actual concreted work over there. Not too far, Loki. You've got to get in the car now. Right, gonna have to dry him now. And also down that way we have the mention about Murray's Monument and things, but we also have the Wild Goat Park and the Red Deer Range just down that way as well. There's a lot of stuff down this road. And there's Craig Nelder over there. Crag of the Eagle. Thanks for joining us in this Stravaiging, and hope you can join us for another one in the future. Sláinte.